Welcome to this overview of the MiniMed 670G system, the world's first self-adjusting insulin pump and CGM system. Over the next few minutes, we will go over the MiniMed 670G pump, the Guardian Sensor 3 continuous glucose monitor, what is auto mode, and how auto mode can help you increase your time and range. Before we begin, let's look at some of the challenges you and/or your loved ones face. Each and every day, you make countless decisions in managing type 1 diabetes. Here are just some of the questions you might ask yourself on a daily basis. One of the frustrations with managing type 1 is what was working yesterday is not working today, and we aren't sure if it will work tomorrow. Let's drill down with more specificity on the impacts on daily life of a person with type 1. In a recent survey of over 1,000 people with type 1, they were asked what is the biggest impact type 1 has on their daily lives. Coming in at number 5 is A1C. A1C is the metric that healthcare professionals have discussed with their patients for many years as the way to reduce the risk of complication. Number 4, hypoglycemia. Recent data suggests that 7 out of 10 people with type 1 alter their insulin dose to avoid hypoglycemia. Which leads to number 3 on this survey, dosing insulin. This speaks to the challenges of dosing your mealtime and fasting or background insulin from meal to meal and day to day. In second position, unexpected blood glucose numbers. As we mentioned before, you can do something one way and it worked yesterday, while today you get a different result. And finally, in the number 1 position for what people in this survey believe to have the biggest impact on their daily lives is time and range. As quoted here, time and range defines the daily experience of living with diabetes. Let's take a deeper dive into what time and range means and how it can have an impact on the life of a person living with type 1. On this slide, we have 2 people who both have an A1C of 7%. However, they have completely different time and range values. The time and range circles show Ava has a low time and range compared with Ben. The graph on the right shows their glucose profiles. As you can see, Ava experiences significant variability throughout her day, which probably means she is not feeling well due to high or low blood sugars. Not to mention the frustration of trying to get her sugars down from a high or up from a low. While Ben, who has the same A1C, however with less highs and lows, is able to get on with his day-to-day activities and hopefully spend less time thinking about his diabetes. Another important point here is you can learn from your time and range analysis, understanding what causes your highs and lows and trying to prevent them from happening in the future. However, because A1C is a 3-month average of our blood glucose, it makes it very difficult to understand what specific changes we need to make in our day-to-day activities to bring it to below 7%. So how has technology helped us improve our time and range? Let's begin with multiple dose injection and blood glucose monitoring, or we can call it insulin pens and BG strip testing. The average time and range achieved in this therapy is 45%. If we added continuous glucose monitoring, or CGM, to insulin pen therapy, we bump up the time and range to 51%. Next, when we add a pump to CGM, where you see your CGM on any device, but there is no action initiated between them other than the user manually doing something to their pump, the average time and range achieved was 55%. Still not close enough to the target of 70%, which, as we said, will help you achieve an A1C of less than 7 and reduce highs and lows. When pumps could start taking action on the CGM reading, we were getting close with time and range of 65%. Finally, automation, hybrid closed loop technology. With SmartGuard Auto Mode in the MiniMed 670G, we are able to break the 70% time and range threshold. In our safety study, people using SmartGuard Auto Mode were able to achieve a time and range of 72%. This achievement was mimicked in the real world with our global and Canadian data recently published, which also showed a time and range of above 70%. What this means is people were not only bringing their A1C down, they were having fewer highs and lows and spending less time thinking about their diabetes. What are the components that make up the MiniMed 670G insulin pump system? Let's begin with the MiniMed 670G insulin pump, a fully waterproof pump designed for accuracy with increments of 0.025 units or 1/40th of a unit delivery. It has a color screen that adapts to ambient lighting and a casing that provides durability for day-to-day wear. For your convenience, it is a battery-operated pump that uses changeable AA batteries, and it comes with a newly designed clip, so you have the option to clip it to your clothing for those times where you prefer not to use a case during your day or night. Moving to your right, we have the Contour Next Link 2.4 blood glucose meter, a highly accurate meter that links wirelessly to your pump. Below that is the CareLink personal software that has been updated and improved to match that of your healthcare professional. It has been simplified so you and your team can see your progression at a glance and decide where to make changes to decrease your lows and increase your time in range. To the left of that, we have our wide range of infusion sets that come in various styles and lengths, including our latest Mio Advance, which is a one-button press which allows you for easy insertion in even those tough to reach places. Finally, our Guardian Sensor 3 continuous glucose monitor, made up of our most accurate sensor and rechargeable, yes, rechargeable transmitter. On the next slide, we will look a little closer at the Guardian Sensor 3. The changes made to the Guardian Sensor 3 design have resulted in significant improvement in performance and accuracy. Sensor accuracy is most often assessed using the MARD, M-A-R-D, or mean absolute relative difference between the sensor and the reference lab assessed blood glucose values. The Guardian Sensor 3 was able to achieve a MARD of 8.7%, which is an improvement from the previous MiniMed systems. The sensor has also been updated and improved to achieve a longer life of up to 7-day wear. And we've added a diagnostic chip to the rechargeable transmitter to monitor the sensor health and let you know if something is not right, keeping you safe as you go about your day, focusing on your activities and not constantly looking at your sensor glucose readings. At this point, let's have a look at how MiniMed systems have progressed in terms of helping you achieve a greater time in range. With our standalone manual mode pump, where you can set up to 48 basal rates and have access to our dual and square wave boluses for tough to carb count meals like pizza, people were able to achieve a time in range of 54%. When we add our CGM to our pump, when still in manual mode and with SmartGuard suspend on low or suspend before low turned on, the pump system will take action to protect you from hypoglycemia by turning off your basal rate 30 minutes before or when you reach the low limit. With this take action technology turned on, a time in range of 64% was achieved. Finally, with the MiniMed 670G insulin pump system with SmartGuard auto mode turned on, an average of over 70% time in range was achieved by people using the system. So not only is the MiniMed 670G system the first self-adjusting insulin pump system, it is also the first to cross over the 70% target for time in range by reducing highs and lows. So just how does SmartGuard Auto Mode work? Like a thermostat to control the temperature in your home, which tries to keep the temperature at a constant degree, the MiniMed 670G system targets a sensor glucose of 6.7 millimoles per liter. Every 5 minutes, the sensor automatically sends a signal to your pump telling it what your glucose trend is. The pump's algorithm makes a decision to deliver you a micro dose of insulin to replace what you would have set in your basal rates if you are using a pump, or your long-acting insulin injection if you are using injectable pens. It does this 288 times a day, which is 24 hours broken up into 5-minute intervals. The pump and CGM basically manages your basal or fasting blood sugars for you, letting you get on with your day. What you still need to do is bolus for meals. And just to clarify the target of 6.7 millimoles per liter, If you could keep your sugars at 6.7 for 24 hours over a 3-month period, you may achieve an A1C of 5.8%. And a target of 6.7 millimoles per liter could also mean less time experiencing high and low blood sugars. How does this compare with manual or traditional pump technology, also referred to as open loop systems? Manual mode technology delivers pre-programmed fixed basal rates, while multiple dose injection, or insulin pens, there is one set basal rate. These therapies often don't line up with the daily trends of your blood glucose. With SmartGuard Auto Mode, the pump system delivers a micro dose of insulin, illustrated by the green vertical bars, or no insulin at all, depending on the predicted trends of your blood sugars every 5 minutes. This better lines up the insulin you need with the insulin you are getting from your pump. On our next slide, we will see just how variable your basal insulin requirements can vary from day to day. In this slide, we took a snapshot of 4 nights from the CareLink report of a person with type 1 diabetes using our system in SmartGuard Auto Mode. This is not a generated model. It is an actual report of 4 nights from midnight to 6 a.m. First, look at the time and range achieved by this person over the 4 nights. The glucose values are represented by the blue line that stretches across and through the green horizontal band. That green horizontal band is the time and range, or where the glucose values are between 3.9 and 10 millimoles per liter. As you can see, this person was able to stay in range throughout the 4 nights, and it is something we hear again and again from people using the system. Now let's focus on the bottom part of each of the graphs over the 4 nights. Notice how each night is different to the others. We can see this by the decision that Auto Mode is making in terms of microdose delivery depending on the glucose status of the person in the moment. When the glucose levels are rising, the pump ups its delivery of microboluses. When the glucose levels are dropping, the pump will reduce and even completely stop the delivery of insulin well before the person has gone low. Look at the start of the 4th night specifically. If this person had a basal or nighttime insulin or a set basal rate on board for those 2 hours between midnight and 2 a.m., this person would have gone low, which means getting up to treat the low. This slide truly captures the incredible challenge it is for people with type 1 to manage their blood sugars. Every day and every night is different, and trying to match your insulin to your varied insulin needs can feel like a 24-hour, 7 days a week, full-time job. SmartGuard Auto Mode is working in the background to help make that job more bearable. Now let's delve into the human effect of SmartGuard Auto Mode on people's lives. As seen in 13,000 people who have used the MiniMed 670G self-adjusting insulin system, 4 out of 5 users trust Auto Mode to help them manage their glucose levels. For a more specific perspective, let's look at what these 2 Canadian women have to say about using Auto Mode. Alicia from New Brunswick says, "Worrying about lows at night was a really big concern. Since being on this pump, it's given me stability. I have slept like a rock." And Desi from Ontario says, "Particularly overnight, my glucose levels are exceptionally stable. I believe when your blood glucose starts off in target range in the morning, then you are off to a good start for the rest of the day." It's not just state-of-the-art technology that comes with the MiniMed 670G pump and CGM system. From the moment you first learn about our system to when you are on the system and throughout your journey in this revolutionary approach to insulin pump and CGM management, we are here to help. We have an experienced team to help you complete the process to receive and start on the pump, as well as a 24-hour helpline specific to Canadian users. Never run out of sensors and sets. As a Medtronic user, you have access to our online eShop, which helps you get your sets, sensors, and everything else you need in a timely fashion and with a 10% off the price. Traveling anytime soon? Take advantage of our complimentary global assistance and travel loaner program to make sure your trip is safe and enjoyable. No more worrying about what happens if something happens to my pump. Getting started is easy. Give us a call at 1-800-284-4416. Also, go onto our website, www.medtronicdiabetes.ca, and learn more about our revolutionary system. And don't forget to reach out to your healthcare team to discuss if MiniMed 670G is right for you. What if there was a different way to manage your type 1 diabetes? What if we were able to help take on much of the day-to-day burden of living with type 1 and give you hours of your day and your life back? With the MiniMed 670G, spend less time thinking about your diabetes and more time living in the moment. To hear from others who have made the switch to the MiniMed 670G, check out our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel. We look forward to hearing from you soon. We are here to help.